If you own one XRP, we need to talk about the $15.3 trillion unlock. That could potentially start as soon as Monday. Now, remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also consider subscribing to the channel. What we're going to discuss in today's video is specifically about institutional investors coming into the crypto space for the first time when it comes to XRP. We know that the 2x leveraged ETF just went live on Thursday. It was just approved. And starting next week, with how the weekly candle closes tomorrow, Sunday, I think it's going to be pretty remarkable. And we're going to see probably big institutional inflows starting with that before even the spot ETF approval happens, which when that occurs, that's when I believe we're going to see multi-trillion dollars worth of investments coming in from institutions right into XRP and other big cryptocurrencies alike. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. First and foremost, market sentiment. Things are looking very good. Thankfully, Bitcoin is actually holding up really, really strong. As long as BTC can hold near its all-time high, it allows room for altcoins to then run and play catch up. Because right now, we know Bitcoin is at all-time highs, and so is XRP, but the majority of altcoins still haven't had their official rallies. So with that being said, though, with how XRP is going and the momentum that it has, and guys, one thing you got to make sure you're always looking at is the amount of volume. So this is on BTCC. We could see that there's $89 million of trade volume on a single exchange. But if you go over to CoinMarketCap, you can kind of see $8.3 billion of inflows coming into XRP. And mind you, that's mainly retail volume, which is absolutely massive because we're about to see an insane amount of liquidity and inflows come in from institutions with the leveraged ETF that was approved. So let's go ahead and talk about that piece. XRP news today, XRP ETF not rejected. SEC clarifies XRP delay as procedural move. A lot of people thought it wasn't going to happen, but the SEC made sure to say, no, that's not the case. We're just delaying the approval for the XRP exchange traded funds. That's, of course, after the news of XRP exposure getting institutional boost with ProShares leveraged ETF. So XRP rockets into the spotlight as ProShares launches a 2x leveraged ETF, which we mentioned a few days ago, actually, offering traders amplified exposure to crypto price swings through a regulated futures-backed product. So ProShares launched the leveraged XRP ETF with the 2x daily performance exposure. And that, of course, went live just last week. And we saw the amount of inflows coming in, even though that's a higher risk type ETF because it is leveraged and not spot. So with that being said, what we need to pay attention to right now and why I believe we're going to see trillions of dollars, up to 15.3 trillion, probably even more than that as the M2 money supply continues to increase. And when I talk about M2 money supply in today's video, I want to make sure you're all familiar with what that term actually means. So the United States money supply, or the M2, is the aggregate M2 money supply estimated by the Federal Reserve, which right now, as of May 2025, it's right around 21.94 trillion. And it continues to go up month after month after month. And that's because when it comes to dollars, you guys all need to make sure you understand, and what makes XRP and other cryptocurrencies way more remarkable and way better of an investment or thing to hold aside from dollars is the feds have the right to continue to print dollars day after day after day. They can do whatever they need to when it comes to the dollar bills because it's paper and it's printable. When it comes to crypto, there's a finite amount on chain, and XRP has a finite liquidity, maximum exposure, a maximum float that can always be in circulation, and you can't print more than that. So we know that there's $21.71 trillion worth of M2 money supply when it comes to the US dollar. Keep that in mind. Number two, what we also know as a fact is BlackRock has $11 trillion of assets under manager, and all the other world's institutional investors and other hedge funds have about $4 to $4.5 trillion with assets under management. So putting it right around an aggregate of 15 trillion. Mind you, since BlackRock launched in 2024, its Bitcoin ETF, they were able to scoop up multiple percent, and I'm talking about 6 or 7% of the total Bitcoin supply in that short of time. So when an XRP ETF, like the one that we're expecting right now, yes, ProShares got the one that's leveraged, but when we get the spot XRP ETF, we can expect significant inflows coming in from BlackRock, other hedge funds, pension funds, and liquidity. Because I've mentioned it time and time again, the majority of money that is coming into XRP today is from retail demand. So people like you and I, non-institutional investors, not venture capitalists, because it's not available as an ETF or exchange traded fund that is via a regulated medium that allows them to then invest publicly via their investment mediums. Ripple co-founder, this was just earlier this week too, makes surprising $26 million XRP move as ETF launch nears. A wallet belonging to the XRP co-founder and executive chairman Chris Larsen transferred $26 million in XRP to Coinbase crypto exchange on July 15th, as per the DL News report. Ripple was a blockchain tech crypto payment. We already know about that. But specifically, the wallet transferred 8 million XRP tokens to the CEX, or centralized exchange, valued at more than $26 million at the time of the writing, which now actually is even closer to $30 million. This year alone, the same wallet transferred 106 million XRP, worth $344 million, to the exchange and auxiliary wallets. Larsen's estimated net worth is about $10 billion, making him one of the world's wealthiest individuals. A lot of people within the XRP community don't like when they see those movements because they worry that the founders of XRP are dumping or selling their positions on these centralized exchanges. But you got to remember, Elon Musk, Tesla all-time highs, sold his positions, and not all of it, liquidating small bits because they need liquidity for whatever it might be when it comes to their day-to-day life. And Jeff Bezos selling Amazon shares every time it basically touches its all-time high, and he offloads billions of dollars, not just a small $10 to $20 million position. So when we see these kind of movements happen in anticipation of big rallies, I personally don't really mind it if they were dumping significant positions that were actually affecting the chart negatively over time. Because if you have a token generating $10 billion of trade volume, at all-time high the other day, we saw $24 billion of trade volume. That should not be an issue. Will they regret it when XRP goes to $10, $20, $50, $100? Possibly. But remember, these folks are the ones who founded this project, and they have probably a significant position, and they need to take profits to continue to operate their businesses, operate their day-to-day lives. They have families to feed, whatever it might be. Regardless, they need to continue to hedge. And that's what we need to do as XRP holders. I'm not the person that's going to come on camera, come in front of the microphone and say, you need to hold forever. No, but you need to make sure you have a strategy in place that you create. I can't tell you when to buy. I can't tell you when to sell. But what I can at least tell you is, do I think XRP is a good investment right now on July 19th in 2025? My answer is yes for me. And that's why I come here and talk about it on a day-to-day basis. I talk about crypto, and I've been talking about it for the last 4 years because I believe with every bear market will come a bull, and bulls always outlast the bears, period. And the direction that the markets are going, because of the loss of faith in the US dollar and the loss of faith in our monetary system, and we need this financial revolution to happen now, for the sake of transparency and lack of governmental trust from a centralized perspective, is I believe that blockchain and crypto right now are still extremely undervalued, and XRP is going to be at one of the forefronts in changing and shifting the entire scale and the scope of our financial and monetary system, because of the relationships with already the central banks, which need to shift from centralized banking to more of a decentralized banking type phenomena. So again, guys, time is the true teller. I do believe that we're going to continue to see XRP run up. Establish your positions as you wish. If you got into XRP at a penny or 2 cents, 10 cents, 15, 20, create a strategy for you to make sure you're able to feed your family, take care of yourself, take care of your investment portfolio, de-risk as you see fits. But I believe the trajectory is still extremely bullish when it comes to the overall market outlook, with ETFs along the way. M2 money supply at all-time highs, as I mentioned, at $21 trillion circulating. The future looks extremely bright. So I appreciate you guys so much. That's all I had for you today. So until next time, as always, everyone, smash the like button on the way out, consider subscribing, and keep investing. Peace.